It's Monday. We're doing it again. The markets are rising this morning as we are continuing our bigger picture march higher. Welcome today to the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Everybody had a phenomenal weekend and is feeling good about kicking off the week in style. So let's get rolling. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get the alerts and the updates. But let's go ahead and dive right in. So the S&P this morning, we are up about 11 points. We had talked last night in the live trade room about this potential breakout area above the open from last night. We sold off until about the London Open, and then once the London Open hit, we've been trading up since that area. I think that we're going to continue to trade a bit higher. We've got a little bit of a 15-minute demand area that unfortunately we didn't trade all the way down into that region. Wasn't able to quite get into that zone in the overnights, and so now I think that level is still valid. I do think that there's a chance for a breakout to the upside. You will see that if we break out above here, there's a little bit of a potential trap area up here. So I don't know that based on the way that we're trading right now that I would lean on the breakout. If we do get a little bit of a pullback, keep an eye on this little zone right in here as a potential for a reversal on a 15-minute time period. Price comes back down into there, gives you a good entry and a chance to get long at about 46.82. Moving over to the NASDAQ, I think the NASDAQ is setting up for a pretty nice little breakout. We did get a retest back into this gap fill area last night, although you may or may not have been awake when it hit. It did hit that little gap fill area, and now it's basing kind of in front of it. But as far as a breakout goes above 16,245, that is a pretty good setup. So I would look for a potential breakout above here. This supply area up here is not great supply, so I think that the probability is that we would go through there, and then this long red candle created kind of an absence of orders, allowing price to climb a bit higher. I want to take a real quick look. I know we don't always look at it on Monday mornings at the Russell, because the Russell actually is setting up as well for a little bit of a breakout, a little bit of basing here happening in front of this level. Potential breakout above this 2420 region in the Russell. Taking a quick look at crude oil, as crude oil is continuing to move down. We talked about last night the fact that I think crude oil is going to come down a little bit in the short term. In the near term, I think we're going to continue to trade a bit lower. We found this 15-minute level last night. Unfortunately, that never came back and got retested. We were looking at it when it was right about here, and we just never came back and retested it and continued to sell off. So now if I look at this on the 1-hour chart, it's something where I don't want to be chasing, because we broke below the low right here without really truly giving me good basing. So I don't want to chase it down, but I also want to be able to re-engage and jump back in. Well, looking above, do I see any clean supply areas here to jump in? And my answer to that is no. There's nothing really here that's clean enough for me to be willing to hop on that train on a 15-minute time period. Might I be able to splice into it by going down to a 5? Quite possibly, but I don't feel like that's going to be a prudent decision and a prudent opportunity. So I think the better trade to do is to wait, is to be a bit cautious and wait. I think it's possible that we could pull back all the way to about 75, where we do have on the daily chart this prior area of resistance all through here, and that old resistance can act as new support. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see us pull back into this region. It also shows up pretty cleanly on the weekly chart that would be a decent little pullback point right into this region here. Now, last week's weekly candle was a very bearish weekly candle, so I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, to see us pull back into around the 75 range. That would be a nice, strong pullback to a 38.2 retracement before then continuing to trade a bit higher. Next, let's take a look at gold. Gold, we did pop up last night to a new high and then sold off in the overnight sessions. I think that you could have a breakout above these highs if we get basing in front of it, but that's the only way that I would take it. Gold's been acting a bit, let's use the term wonky lately, with not a lot of really great levels making themselves present. Now, we are definitely in an upward trend, but it's been kind of cutting through traditional reversal levels. So let's take an eye on this as a potential breakout. We do have higher lows and look at a breakout above 1872, provided, once again, provided that basing occurs. And that basing needs to occur somewhere in this region. Somewhere in here is where we need to see basing occur before we would be willing to get in on that thing. All right. So those are our four major markets for today. Not a whole lot in gold and crude oil. Nasdaq and S&P looking, on the bullish side potentially for breakouts. Now, I am going to take a look at a potential other direction on a stock of the day. And somebody asked me to continue to be doing a stock of the day, and I haven't been doing it much, but I wanted to pull one up for today that I had been looking at, which is Roku. And Roku, looking at this area right through here, has just given a bit of a breakdown. And that little breakdown that we just got in Roku has room to run until about this 241. So I think that you could see Roku continue to break down. If I move this to a smaller time period, we've actually rallied a little bit back up here the last couple of days. And I wouldn't be surprised to see price then reverse and then continue to come back lower. If we continue to rally higher, you've actually got a nice little supply level up here at about 290 on the hourly chart. So keep an eye on Roku as a potential downside mover. It would just kind of continue the downward trend as it's been continuing to go down. We haven't seen any increase in earnings. Our earnings really haven't jumped up to support the strong price stock that we have. And then on a weekly chart, I think it's realistic to believe that it would come back down to this region here where we have a little bit of consolidation as we've put in a bit of a double topping pattern up through here. So keep an eye on Roku on the downward slope if you're looking at a potential bearish opportunity. So hope you guys had a phenomenal trading day. Get out there, make some money, have some fun, live life on your terms. Till tomorrow, everybody. I will talk to you soon. See ya. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually alive and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.